this transition for EE Sports Talk is very new. It's about a month to 2 months into it, and I heard you talk about on that episode how you were able to find your why and your purpose, and I'm still getting there to where I'm fully trying to, experiences will help me be able to find my full why and purpose. But I feel like what I'm doing right now is helping me get to that place.
It's a never ending process, man. Just like
Exactly.
I like to think of real estate of the triple L, location, location, location is so important with whatever
Hmm.
your real estate is, whether it be a restaurant or a house, like everything close, right?
Right.
But got to think of it, whatever you're doing to figure out your why or your purpose, be patient. Don't compare it to anyone else. It's going to
Right.
come at the perfect time and it's not going to come when you want it to.
Hmm.
But you got to think of the LLL with your life of lifelong learning,
Yep.
lifelong learning. Just learn every day, live life to its fullest. And then the thing is when you feel like you've learned it all, that's when you start to be ignorant. That's when you start to be, oh,
Hmm.
my nose is in the air. I know more than you.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's so much more important to seek understanding and to seek someone's point of view than it is to be correct, or it
Hmm.
is to make sure the other person feels like they're wrong. If you're
Right.
just trying to prove people wrong all the time, then it's just like that's not how you um, explain things to people. That's not how you can really understand people. Like to fundamentally understand someone, it takes asking the right questions and it takes
Hmm.
understanding like the environment that this person's been in. Because just like from
Exactly.
my personal struggles and my story, it's like you're a product of the environment and the environment shapes you. It's
Hmm.
like when I was 7 years old, I got attacked by that Rottweiler. So it's like this dog, I didn't know this at the time. This is like, me growing up and, like it happened at 7. So it took a year or two to really overcome the total fear from the post-traumatic stress and things. But it's like, I dealt with the truth of like, dude, this Rottweiler that attacked me got out, it attacked me in my own yard. And the owners were raising it like to be like a guard dog. It was a product of this environment. You know what I'm saying? And humans are the same way. You can train a human, whether it be physical fitness or building muscles, and you can train animals
Right.
like dog training. And the thing
Hmm.
is I had to fundamentally accept that truth. And I didn't want to be a victim. And I was scared of my own dogs. I was scared of all dogs because of like a dog killed me. So like almost killed me. So it's like, it's just like, I just accepted it. I dealt with it. I even emotionally ate. So it's like, I know you struggle with anxiety, and that's a thing. Everyone copes with things differently. So I emotionally ate. That's how I dealt with it. And I also was just scared. And I just feel like I never wanted to take my shirt off too, like being 10 and whether being overweight, but I was just scared about my scars. Like I didn't want people to show the scars. Like, and the thing is like, you'll realize when you grow up, it's just like, I mean, don't ever grow up or don't ever grow old and don't ever
Hmm.
grow up. Just live your life to its fullest, dude.
Right.
It's like
Right.
the biggest secret because the people that love doing what they're doing, it took them a long time to figure that out. And it's like the world will make its space for you when you really stick to your truth and you really profess, whether it be to the divine intelligence in the universe, whether it be to God, whether it be to the closest people in your circle. When you speak your truth and you're just yourself, that's the best thing you can ever do because other people will see that and
Right.
they're like, whoa. They can either choose to be like you, or they can choose to be like, whoa, what is he could do to do that? Huh? I want to be like that. But you don't want people to be just like you. You
Right.
want people to be the best versions of themselves. So when
Hmm.
you're the best version of yourself, people will see that and you will influence people. Don't think of it
That's the
as
goal.
social media influencing all. Dude, like from the beginning of time, Michael Jordan was an influencer with Nike. Like you have to think about that stuff. It's just people influence people based upon how they live their life. And you will fundamentally be on fire and be unstoppable when you make that decision and you think of your why for yourself. You can go to a tarot card reader, you can go to a psychic, you can go to the gurus of the world, and they can tell you your why, but it really won't be yours. It's from them. And
Right.
like the first venture that I went into business, it's like I got to learn business fundamentally from startup world and being an entrepreneur with Rally Flip Cap. So, and that's where we connected because I know you're in baseball, and that's the thing.
Right.
Like we really wanted to bring a fun, entertaining experience to the fans. It's all about the fans. I played baseball in high school. I gave it up to study like graphics, branding, and multimedia studio arts in college at Loyola Marymount University. But the point is like I've been an athlete my whole life. I still work out. It's part of my lifestyle. And my brother played D1 football for Berkeley. He was a place kicker. So it's like being, on a player on the field, there's going to be critics. And the point is the fans carry you when your teammates on the team can't sometimes. They root for you. So that's like, we wanted to bring fun, entertaining experiences with the hat. This one says party on, and it says time to get weird.
I love that.
But this is a minimum viable product. So in startup world, when you we funded this all ourselves, and when you want to take on and grow community and find your niche target market, you have to build an MVP and start marketing it and going out there into the world and letting people know your story or what it is, why you created something or this hat. So here's another one. I did the typography. It says work hard, and then you flip it up and it says play harder. So this was like the concept. We have two versions. These ones that have custom fabric that's just there, and then you don't have to ever flip them up. But then we have another one that has a dry erase marker so you can write stuff. It's that freedom of speech. We like to joke, like, people hold the signs, but it's a hands-free sign that's on your head. Why hold a sign? Why hold a sign when you can write what's on your mind? So, but the point is Rally Flip Cap, that's where I had to talk about my story and my brother. My brother has struggled with, and I'm so happy that you're really bringing a beacon of hope for athletes, for entrepreneurs, for creators, for anyone that just wants to pursue their potential. And anxiety, everyone has it, but my brother struggled with obsessive compulsive disorder. It's great to be a kicker and focus, but it's like he would obsess over things, and that's his struggle. I struggled with Tourette syndrome growing up because neurologically, when I was attacked by the Rottweiler, I was in shock. So like you get into a state of shock. I don't know if I passed out a little bit, but I was rushed to the hospital, and like I like to say, like, I saw the white light, but I don't think I was losing that much blood. I was just in shock. I was traumatized from literally my muscle hanging out and 80 something stitches on my arm. But I struggled with Tourette syndrome. So like I would twitch my eyes and I'd get made fun of. It really gave me thick skin. We all love Gary Vee. We're Gary Vee fans, but I have obnoxiously thick skin because I was made fun of. I couldn't understand what was going on with my body, and I couldn't control my neck jerking, my facial tics and stuff. So it's like, man, kids nowadays have it really tough with school and bullying, but it's like, I had to look back. It's like, people fear what they don't understand. It's human nature to question, to be scared, to feel inferior to something you don't understand. Call it a stereotype, call it something. But that's why when you ask the right questions and you really seek to understand, not be correct, then you can learn from other people. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have blood, mana, it's power. Blood is in us. We all share DNA. Like you have to think, like, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are going to space, man. Like, they're doing that for the human race. They're not just doing it for billions of dollars. They're not just doing it for their companies. They're not just doing it for their ego. They're doing it to progress the human race, because who knows if there's going to be something, a catastrophic event that's like an asteroid, not even like a pandemic, that would happen to us in the future. So I'm just saying, like, you have to think of what it is that you're going to pursue your life's work or your legacy. Have it be where not only your family members, don't be just a good ancestor to your kids or your family members who know you for family, familiarity, that's who you know. And you have to realize, whatever you decide to do with your life, there's no wrong way of doing it. If you have the 100 jobs and then finally the 121 one, or if it's the 500 one, you figure it out, that's great. But the point is you have to think of, like, what do I want to be remembered by for how I spend my 8 hours a day working? But now it's like, if you're familiar with Tim Ferriss, like the 4-hour work week, if you're really smart with delegating, being resourceful, having great team members, no one does shit alone. Right. That's how you can get more things done. It's just like, I forget who said this quote, but it's, rather than have 100% of one own's effort, like one's own mind, it's better to have 1% of 100 people's own effort and minds, because an idea that's resonating in 100 people's minds is way better than just 100% of the best of one person's mind, right?
Right.
You got to think of that perspective. And it's just like, I learned about perspective from Rally Flip Cap, because we like expressing ourselves with our innovative headwear. It's wearable technology, flipping it up. And we wrote a lot of things in our patent, whether it be VR, QR codes that aren't really that popular, but are, and so many other things where it's interactive when you flip the bill. And, that's not mainstream yet, right now, like Oculus Rift and things like that. But the point is I had to fundamentally speak my truth, say, hey, like, yes, like my dad's been importing and exporting and has been a great merchant for, 40 something years with the business that he's built from nothing. And before that, he was an NBA referee. So it's like, I like to say, my dad is a CEO, he's a boss, but he has really good judgment. When you're calling the shots on the basketball court with the pros, with the fucking players of the world back in 83 to 85, or Yeah, 1982 to 85 or 83 to 85 for 2.5 years. He stopped because he wanted to focus full time on his business. And my brother was born. But the point is, when you're around elite athletes, you have to make the right call and be fair. Right. And in business, you're going to have to be fair, whether it be your customers, whether it be the content that you're providing to people for free. You just always have to be fair and listen to people. Like, it's not even about like, oh, the customer's always right. You just have to ask the right questions and provide a solution. If you can provide a solution to a problem that something's happening, that's the best. And what's better than that is preventing problems from even happening. So it's one thing to be able to solve a problem, great. But when you can learn to get really masterful at that, then you can prevent them from ever happening. But yeah, like I really had to open my voice when it comes to Flip Cap. Like I like saying, hey, like this is our way of expressing ourselves. I'm telling a story. Right. For years, I didn't like, for years, people misunderstood me, and it's normal. So it's like, I was able to connect with so many people, whether it be through mental health. And it's like, people saw us as these goofy brothers. We branded ourselves as the Rally Flip Cap Brothers. We're bringing fun, entertaining experiences inside and outside of the stadium. Mm-hmm. And we're making hats more fun. That's exactly what Rally Flip Cap's all about. And the thing is I love growing and building brands, some that I've done personally, others that I'm, a mentor, advisor, and a consultant for. But that's the thing, like I'm a great promoter of products. And that's the thing. I'm able to supply a lot of companies, and that's what we do with my father. And I know what's the name of the baseball team that you've been working with?
Silver Knights.
Yeah, and New Hampshire, right? Is that where they're located?
Yep.
Silver Knights. So I'm just saying, like, that's what we've been like doing for so many years. We've been a collaborative force for so many companies, whether that be like a big time company like Target or Skechers or other things. There's a lot of entities involved, but we pretty much fulfill and are able to manufacture and supply tangible goods, like all products. And a lot of our clients have like catalogs. So it's like, we don't really have a lot of things that we can show on our website because we do a lot of things that are more like prototyping and behind the scenes, and we have to protect our clients' confidentiality with NDAs. So it's like, I like to joke, like, but I feel like I'm freaking Marty McFly at times, and my dad's like Doc Brown, because it's like you get to, I wouldn't say butt heads, but it's like you watch that movie and there's just like, it's almost like you will see when you're building your dream or you're doing what you love and it's hard, right? Like you'll become the own character of your story. Mm-hmm. You're going to meet a lot of other characters, and it's like, we're all so different, but we're all alike. But what separates us is your story. Everyone has a story. Man, when we die and it's RIP on our grave, there's a couple lines there, maybe a word or two that people want to, but there's a story. That's not going to happen fundamentally in the future when most people that are in graves the last 15 or 10 plus years don't have a social presence or an internet presence. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you have to realize like what you put out on the internet. Okay. It's so important with your integrity of what you're doing out there, because off the internet and on the internet, credibility and reputation is everything. It can take years to build. It can take seconds to destroy. And that's the beautiful thing of when you're doing something genuinely for yourself, like you speak your truth and you put it out there, it's all going to be traced back to you. And then people will realize when you keep going and you do years in the making, you're patient, like, oh my God, that's genuine. Like they're so genuine. It's like, there's something genuine about like high school love, like people that fall in love in high school. Oh, like they met 16 years old and stuff. Like there's things that are special like that. So it's like, you just have to think like whatever you're doing, it might not be special to anyone else. It doesn't matter. As long as it's special to you in the beginning, and you get one person to believe in you, or one person to kind of see what you're doing and engage in a way. And so many things, I just wish I would have learned this early on. There's going to be so many things that happen with interactions that don't even happen on social media, whether it be like direct messaging and stuff that you don't ever share. It's like, it's so important to share stuff and to put stuff up, but don't do it all, because it's not even like, if you're just going to always post what you're doing, then it's almost like, okay, I'm going to flex. Okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to show this. And it's like, okay, well, now are you flexing and are you bragging about your business, or are you providing a valuable service? Mm-hmm. Like there comes a time where you have to flex and do other things too, but it's just like, you're going to piss people off when you're in your zone. When you're in your zone and you're on fire, whether it be playing, NBA 2K or something, or like back in the day, Blitz, like when you're on fire and stuff, like other players are mad at the person that just keeps shooting those baskets or is on fire. So it's like, like if you're going to be upset about someone studying for their own test and putting in the work every day and they're on fire, like you're a loser then. So it's like, and that's the thing, like you'll learn early on, it's so important to celebrate the success of others, because if you don't, that's fine. But it just shows you that the people that aren't happy for other people probably aren't happy themselves. It's just that simple. And I don't need, whether it be my content or other things, I don't need everyone to like me. I want everyone to fucking like themselves. If I can make sure people are happy with themselves, whether it be talking kindly to themselves, like the relationship you have with yourself, the words that you speak to your inner voice without opening your mouth is so important. Like the praise, the prayers that you do, the music you listen to, all that stuff is all subjective of what you choose, or it's objective. And it's so important when you're building a business or doing what you want to do with your life, or living a fulfilling life. It's so important to do that. I'm trying to think of what I was going to say, but yeah.
Well, like that's like you brought it up perfectly with how like kids, I mean, my generation, it's awful with mental health, social media, comparing yourselves to other people. And you're really seeing it so much in sports. And I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to sort of transition more to connecting mental health with sports, because I really don't think it's talked about enough. And with this podcast, like with having people on like yourself who have been able to find ways to overcome these different challenges and, strive for their dreams, I want to help empower and influence the younger generation to not compare themselves so much to these influencers. And what's unfortunate is that these influencers on social media, like they don't influence people. They flaunt what these people and these fans and followers gave to them. And what I'm trying to do is influence people through my words, my voice, through this podcast, through the guests that I bring on, and help the people that listen to this podcast and follow me learn from the experiences that other people have gone through.
And you're doing that, man. Please go like this. Go like this.
Appreciate
go like
you.
this. No, you have to do that, because it's just you see real quick what people stand for, whether it be the verification badge influencer. You see, obviously they're getting paid from that company, or they're doing something to market that. It's attached to a material thing. If everything you ever do is attached to a material thing, whether it be a hat or a push-up bar, it can't just be attached to that. You have to be if you can do 51% of value-driven content, value-driven intentions, value-driven visualizations, value-driven voice things. If it's all about that and not just the end of itself of buying a product, then that's gold, and that's the creative.
Right.
It's so important to use your creative mind of what you're doing, because it's like our minds are influenced by so much. The podcasts we subscribe to, the stations we listen to, who we're following on social media, that's all our choice.
It's all your
Instagram Instagram will connect and other apps like Clubhouse and Viber connect your contact list, and they'll show you people that you might want to follow. But when you start an Instagram page and you don't have anything, you're not following one and no one's following you. It's all objective from there on. That's how you have to live your life, or start it every day. Like you were saying, we met on Clubhouse. And you really, I remember I went over, like, just for me personally, I do breath work every morning, and it just helps me realize who I am. And I talk to that little boy that I used to be growing up in fear, and I'm a man now. And when you can go back and talk to that little boy, and you connect the dots on your life and realize, these things happen for a reason, or maybe they didn't, but you know what? I'm tough from it. I woke up today. And the thing is that's like perspective. And for me personally, when you quote unquote do so many things that are in the eyes of society as being successful, you'll have, I don't want to say imposter syndrome, but you'll lose a little bit of sense of your identity. So when you can tell yourself who you are every day, and you show up and you don't act the way you are, but you show with your actions who you are to your loved ones, to your customers, to your clients, to your colleagues, when you can do that is genuine. That is the energy that people feel. That is the higher vibrations of energy. And that's the thing. Everything and anything we ever do is all energy. What you have to think of, like the brilliant minds that shaped the 20th century, whether it be Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, and Albert Einstein, and just so many people, like that. When you can understand the truth or the laws of the universe, objects and motions, there's things that just relate in life and in business. And that's the thing, like you can predict what people are going to do. You can see by people's behavior. And that's the thing, like we're all forms of energy. But when you can harness your own energy, from your anxiety or from the things that are really weighing you down, that's a beautiful thing. That's like an oxymoron. It's tough, but hey, like when you squat, right? When you squat a lot of weight, that's a lot of weight and pressure, but you're able to push yourself back up. It's like, you have to think like, it's the human way. Like, think of like Buddhism as suffering. We all have feelings, and we can feel. We have empathy. We can understand other people. So it's like, when you can really be in touch with your feelings and emotions, and you speak from your heart, you're free.
Right.
You're free.
Biggest thing.
So it's like, and for me personally too, it's like, not, I've had those struggles from neurological disorders, but I also like was born with a heart condition. I was born with aortic stenosis. And if most people don't know what that is, I have a very healthy heart, but the biggest valve in your heart is the aorta. And it's very similar to the shape of a Mercedes sign, 3 leaflets like an airplane. I was only born with 2. So like, I just knew growing up I had to have surgery, and my first one was 14. I had a couple other procedures when I was 7, where they took pictures and went through my leg and did like it was very like not invasive. It was very easy. But yeah, like they repaired. I was a guinea pig actually. And at 14 years old, they took tissue from the bottom of my heart. Usually they do a pig valve or a cadaver valve or a, some other thing that lasts for maybe, not too long. But I was 14, and any person, whether it be a man or woman, you're not really full grown into your body until you're like 23, maybe 27 at times. Women mature quicker, but it's like, I knew like, oh, okay, like if I'm 14 and I'm going to grow up, I'm going to have another surgery. Like that already scared me. But it's like, I was very lucky to have a great successful surgery that lasted 11 years. And they took tissue from the bottom of my heart and made a 3rd leaflet out of my own tissue. It was very new surgery. So like, that's part of the reason why. And I'm so grateful and blessed to be alive during this day and age and to have healthcare. And that's the thing. It's, if you ever see the movie Elysium, it's really scary when you think about how things can be in the future with like only elite people in healthcare and stuff. And it's just like, that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm just saying, like, you have to be grateful for the things that you do have. And I'm just saying, like, I was able to really just through my own things like that, like you and I talked, like today I'm going to live my new life of like what I want to do, build my dream. And the point is like, it's not a bad thing to wake up like that every day. But if you don't build a solid foundation, then you're just kind of like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Exactly.
And it's okay. Like, because when that happens to you, go either seek new information or go shake someone's hand and meet someone new,
right? Or
fist pump if we're wearing a face mask. Like the way that you can get out of your funk or grow your network or just be at a better place than you are right now is either through new knowledge and information or through new people. Because that's where you'll get kind of a different frame of mind. But I'm just saying, like, I speak from my heart, and I branded myself the last 3 or 4 years after the Rally Flip Cap Brothers, but always Rally Flip Cap Brothers, as like a heart warrior. And that's the thing. Like, I'm a heart warrior, and I'm on a journey, and I'm helping people, whether it be productive life hacks, habits, breathing, health, nutrition, what you consume with your mind and your body. And that's the thing. Like, I prick myself every 2 weeks, like people with diabetes. So like I have to test myself because I'm on Coumadin, because my second surgery that I had, I'm 32 now, but my second surgery was when I was 25. So like a year before I got married. And they totally took my whole repair out and gave me a new mechanical valve. Wow. So like, I'm so blessed. I know, like Shaq's son has a mechanical valve. Arnold Schwarzenegger has one.
I saw all these people video yesterday. That was
Shaq's son. I know, 2 years. It's been 2 years. I know, my brother actually shared it to me too, and he's like, hey, look, you guys have something in common. But I'm just saying, it's like everyone's going to have something different, but like, just so like, look, we're up in space now. We're cyborgs because technically, I mean, the fact that we're all using iPhones in a way, it's already AI. And like, we're already kind of like using technology in a way. I mean, if you're not going like this on your arm, you're doing it on your phone. So it's, if you think of it like that, and I'm just saying, like, I like to joke, like the Terminator, like I'm a cyborg, like I'm very blessed. But like, just growing up, and I got a lot of motivation from Arnold, because that's another fucking guy who just lived his truth, who went and lifted weights, and he was so caught up in his truth and winning titles for 8 to 10 years. Everyone's like, dude, we got to get this guy to be Conan the Barbarian. We got to get this guy to be a freaking machine. He's unstoppable. Like, so all these like movies that like, these great people are in, they got the roles because they were playing themselves. But then they take on a character and a story of the movie. And that's the thing. It's like, you got to think of whether it be your product, your service, your community that you're building on social media or off of it as a movie. And when you can think about that as a movie without doing that, you'll be your own producer. You get to work with other people. You get a budget. You got to hire people to be the actors. And then you think of your narration, and then you think of scenes. And then that's how you start planning everything. It's like the things that you want to happen in your life won't fucking happen if you don't plan.
I agree.
Preparation and planning with execution will always deliver results. Now, will they be the results that align with your goals? I don't know. Depends on your key performance indicators and analytics. So it's like, you have to think about that. Like, when you are prepared, when you're patient, and when you study for the test of life or your own business, and you're building that, whether it be your business model, whether it be your business plan, whether it be how you're going to provide the solution. When you can do that, then you're fundamentally like not on autopilot. You're really commanding, and you're really, doing the operations of the business. And that's the thing. Like, I'm a business operator, and I do a lot of other things, but it's like, to really get shit done, you can't just flex like the influencers and post, and you got to roll up your sleeves and do the work. And it's like, when you do the work, like Arnold, that's his work, physical labor. But then I'm sure after, physical labor over like lifting weights and being a professional. And then I'm sure he studied hours. His new job when he had roles for movies was probably studying scripts and like reading it to it in front of the mirror. And it's like, my brother and I back in 2014 and 15 had to do that too. Cause it's like, I've never been that comfortable filming myself. I didn't used to like taking off my freaking shirt because of my scars. So it's like, but we're like, hey, like, we can't just get other people to talk about our product and our brand all the time. And that's the thing. It's like, you learn how to do that yourself. And like, now I still work with, other promoters and influencers and people that align with what I'm doing and the timing of it. But it's like, I had to, train myself how to talk on camera, even to get on podcasts and things. And it's like, when you're able to really put in the work and do that, it shows. And it's like, no one can ever take that away from you. When, like I like saying, like, when you study for that test and you show up compared to the other person that just crammed the last 2 days, it's a beautiful thing, because you don't have to look at someone else's paper. You're just there, and you're there to take everything's fresh in your mind, it's just, like, whether it be like with you and your breath work and stuff, like, some people don't like that. And that's the thing. You have to get really in touch with your emotions and in tune with them and at one. And then you can realize what works best for you. Cause it's just like so many, like, no one's going to, even a doctor or a psychiatrist to a point, doesn't live your thoughts and isn't with you when you're not in their office hours and stuff. Like, you have to really like get in tune with who you are and that's the thing. This might sound really crazy right now, but when you really, really give yourself to others, and you really go into the providing of value and service with how you live your life every day, you'll lose a little bit of like your sense of, I wouldn't say freedom, but your sense of like who you are in a way. Because it's like, the person I used to be, the person I am right now, and the person I'm becoming are all three different people if you think about it. Yeah. And I know it's crazy, but it's like, we grow up and we learn about like the caterpillar and cocoons and things. And I'm just saying, like, there's different life stages. Why do they say there's a, midlife crisis when you're 40 or 50? Why do they say, oh, like, you gain the freshman 20 in college, or now it's the freshman 25 or the 25 of COVID and during Corona, right? I'm just saying, like, there's these things. And I just feel like it's normal to go through these periods of your life where you question stuff, where you're like, hey, I feel like I'm off track. Oh, hey, and it shouldn't just be every freaking January 1st. It shouldn't just be around your New Year's resolutions. Why can't you wake up every morning saying, how do I want to make the people feel about me with how I can show up to them? Like, opening doors for people and things like that. Like, when you go out in your day, like, and you really think of being connected to the human race, connected to this thing that we're living called life, like, you'll realize, like, dude, like that, like I'm saying with energy, like, we really are all connected. Like, I like to think, and I have a great imagination, and a great quote from Albert Einstein is like, imagination is everything. It's the preview of life's coming attractions. And you have to imagine things. And I just like to think of, like, when you get into the zone and you go into your work mode, whether it be the 4-hour work week, or whether it be the 5 hours every day that you're building your business, if it's part-time, or whether it be 9 hours or 8 hours, like, you have to think of it like Avatar. And near the end of that movie, he became the Avatar. Like, he left his human body
Right.
and then magically went into the blue body of who he was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you have to, and then he realized, oh, like, this isn't fair. Like, the human race is destroying all these people in this tree and stuff. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about Avatar. So it's like, I like
Right.
thinking of that because I feel like we're all connected, whether it be Steve Irwin with sharks and stingrays or other people. Like, dude, like, when they put their hair into the Avatar and they became like the dragon and they flew on them, like, they connected. So it's like, whether it be your significant other, your partner, your wife, your husband, like, you're going to connect energy and forces. And like, and you have to realize, like, everything's a form of energy. When you can harness your energy into putting it into what you want to do, like, you will figure it out.
Right.
And don't compare yourself to me or anyone. When you aren't comparing yourself and you're doing it for you, which is really for other people, like you said, Iggy. And that's the thing, like, pat yourself again on the back. The fact that you're showing up, no, please, you're, you're showing up every day and doing what you're doing. You really are not only giving hope, but you're giving, like, so much to people that don't even realize it yet. Like, there's going to be people that stumble upon your content
Right.
years down the line.
That's the goal, man.
And like, it's the hardest thing to do. But if you're patient and you can just get one person to listen, and you're doing it, and you're just not trying to make money right away and all these other things, and it's pure, man, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's one of the reasons other than Clubhouse, of why you and me connect on so many levels, whether it be our values or ethics and what we're doing, man. It's like, you keep up the great work. Seriously.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's been a really cool transformation for myself over these past few months, really learning more about myself, looking back later on in life and how everything all connects. And I try to remind myself every single day, whatever challenges I go through, that everything happens for a reason. And I think that we're having this conversation for a reason. We met for a reason. And I love everything that you've been saying so far, man. Seriously, like, one of my main goals with really transitioning the podcast is to help 1 million people with their mental health and relieve their mental health, and, mainly overcome challenges. And it's something where it's tough for people sometimes when they go through those challenges or those trials and tribulations to keep that positive and open-minded mindset and be grateful. And remember, I get to be here. I get to go to this job. I need to be grateful for that I have a car. And so through the challenges and trials and tribulations that you've gone through in your life, how have you been able to go at it in a positive mindset and learn from those different situations to help make yourself a better person in the end?
So you and I didn't choose our name, and we didn't choose coming into this world, right?
Right.
It happened for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're all miracles, the fact that we're here. And like you just said, the challenge is worth the reward.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever challenge you go through, there will be a reward when it's not attached to a material thing or like a badge of honor. Like, there are so many rewards in life that aren't material things, like whether it be that pat on the back and stuff. But like, when you endure a challenge, when you're birthed and you're coming out and the babies are crying because they're spanked on the butt or whatever, like, that's a challenge for the mom or the person that's birthing, and that's a challenge for the baby. The first seconds of when we come into this world, we're challenged, if you think about it.
Seriously.
So it's going to be part of our human nature to ask those questions with ourselves, to let the challenge guide us.
Mm-hmm.
You have to realize, if you're lost, that's a challenge. If you're lost on a journey, whether that be you're on a horse or on a car, that's a challenge. How are you going to navigate through that challenge? And when you can ask those questions and be aligned with a closer why, if you don't know your why, it's fine. My why, my personal why is, which I tell myself every day, is my purpose is to bring joy to and improve the lives of others by living an inspired life. If I can show up every day being myself with actions, not just talking about it, but if I'm just living my life, providing my services, providing my value, providing my magical talents and skills that everyone has that are very unique,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm fulfilling my deeds. It's so important to be a doer of good deeds, which I am, a promise keeper, and someone that is reliable. If you can't rely on someone or you can't trust someone, then what's anything worth? And that's the thing. The people that don't trust, you probably shouldn't trust them. and to answer your question of like, how can you, like, what would you say? Like, the number one question that you asked was like, how do you remain positive through challenges? Was that it?
Yep.
I would just say I look back on my life from where I was and how I wished things would be different, and how I wished I could just grow up, and how I wished I can like not be limited in physical exercise, like in PE of doing like the mile and stuff, like, because my cardiologist said like you need to. I was lucky being asymptomatic growing up, and that means that you don't really have shortness of breath and stuff, but I did develop arrhythmia on a stress echo when they saw my heart. Like I started having extra beats, and that's when at 14 they're like, hey, you're gonna have to have that surgery soon. But it's like I had all these things that I wished for, and it's like, be careful what you wish for. And you have to look at your life as the challenges that you go through. Have a conversation with a genie. The magical lamp exists in all of us. We all have a heart, and that's the heart-centered wish that you need to connect with. And it's like when you don't need, like I say, you don't need to go to a psychic or a guru that is just going to tell you how to live your life, because the best masters and gurus will ask the right questions. They will ask questions so they can understand where you are coming from, so they can understand what are your pain points, so they can understand what it is you're going through from the environment that you're in or from the things that have happened for you. Mm-hmm. And it's like I just wish so many things of like being healthy, and I had to fight for my health. Like I had to make fitness a priority when I stopped playing baseball in college, when I would work out 5 days a week at the Burns Rec Center at Loyola Marymount University. And before that, when I went to junior college at Marymount, I'd go to my gym in the South Bay. So it's like I made those things a priorities, and it's like focusing on my health. It's like I wanted to control that. When I was younger, I had no control over my heart condition. I had no control over Tourette's. But it's like you get to a certain point in your life where you realize there are certain things you can control, and then the things that you can't control, you can try very hard, but you'll realize if, like fundamentally there's just a disconnect, and I have to detach from it, and I can't take it personally, and I have to kind of move on and let it go. And it's the toughest thing to do, because one's character is truly revealed during challenging times. Yep. You can see the influencers that are getting paid the big bucks for the promotional posts or anything else, but how you are when things aren't going your way, how you are when the cards that you are dealt are just a shitty hand, how you are when those things happen and when you're back against the wall, will literally show and reveal what you're made of. Yep. Whatever that is. It will, and that's the thing. No one has done anything worth merit and value without putting their heart and their passion into it. And that's the thing. Every one of us has our own energy and our truth, and it is revealed into what we focus on. What you focus on grows, whatever that is. So it's like I chose really on in life. Okay, like I'm scared of these surgeries. Okay, but look, like at 10 years old, I had a sense of like enlightenment. Like I'm like, oh, I survived that dog attack. Like wow, like I could have died. So that like I was a very happy child growing up, but I kind of was robbed my childhood a little bit. I really was, but I don't feel bad for myself or anything. And that's the thing. I am childlike, not childish. Mm-hmm. I like playing every day, whether that be with business, whether that be with sports, whether that be in the gym. That's my fucking playground. So you have to say like, what do you want to do with your life every day when you're 18 and older? Because It's like, it's your parents' intention and it's your parents' focus, or guardians or grandparents or other people that don't have parents, whoever is in your life, like to raise you to be 18, to go out into this world, into society, and contribute. Like I said earlier, we're all trying to excel and progress the human race. Whatever that is, we do. That's all we're trying to do here. Like anyone, I mean, any like whether that be Mark Zuckerberg and all these big people, I like saying, because you have to think nowadays, like back in the day when you thought of Pepsi, or still, there's certain brands and companies where you think of and you can't identify that with a person. You just can't. But then there's other certain brands and companies where you can, the Rock or the tequila or something like that. You can identify it. They happen to be theirs, but it's like, that's the energy factor right there. You see, like that's the energy. And I'm just saying, like Rock's killing it, man. The Jungle Cruise and all these new movies he's going to be in, but like, he focused on providing entertainment and value to all the wrestling fans for freaking 10, 15, 20 years building his career. So like, yeah, like when you're acting in a ring or you're playing a certain role or you're doing a certain thing, like that can be transitioned into other things. So it's like those opportunities came to The Rock because he was just fucking pursuing his potential. He's Dwayne Johnson, he's The Rock. So anyone can rock, Iggy, when they just allow their challenges to not harden their heart, but soften it so that their heart can be exposed. When your heart's hard and it's negative, it's not going to beat blood throughout your body and everything that you need. But when you're breathing, flowing and living life and breathing this air that so many amazing human beings before us, whether it be the Egyptians or so many people thousands of years, like it's so important to realize that you don't have to have all the answers. I still don't have all the answers, but I ask the good questions, and then I'm able to kind of, okay, like that could be something, and I learn from stuff happening. Like the best thing that I could give you or anyone is just always have a beginner's mindset. Like we said earlier, like lifelong learning. When you can realize how much there is we don't know compared to what we do, and that's going to allow you to thrive, to keep learning. And I'm just saying, like, there's thousands, tens of thousands of years of knowledge from the 10 Commandments and other things that people that come before us, like no one, the average life expectancy of a human, is maybe 70 or 80 or whatever, but like there's not 70 to 80 years of knowledge. There's tens of thousands. And I mean, technically the dinosaurs ruled the earth before caveman maybe, and men, like who knows? So it's like, you have to think about all those things. And like, look, we're still learning from the fossils that we find from dinosaurs. So how can we as humans not learn from what humans left for us, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it's like, you have to, I'm just saying, like, you have to realize school and everything is all subjective. They plan the classes, they plan everything. But when you're 18 or older, or you want to fulfill your potential and live a fulfilling life, be objective with it and just start creating from scratch. Be your own alchemist. When you can be your own alchemist, you can come up with different things and be a scientist. It's like, that's how you're going to get shit done and plan and prepare, from like coming up with your hypotheses, from experimenting, from doing the work. Like no scientist just thought up of theories and did formulas without actually doing the work. Like you can't just talk about it or put it on paper. You still have to do the stuff in the lab coats and all the, the work that right. Might be hard. It might be physically labor intensive, or it's just, like a surgeon, like you're really good with your hands, or you're like, and that's the thing, like everything's intricate, but you are going to be the master of your destiny and the master of your fate. You're your own, you're going to be your own operation board. Like that's the thing. Like when you know, and you can settle with that, you'll have a sense of freedom, but you'll also be scared because you'll be like, fuck, I have a lot of responsibility now with what I want to do, how I want to live my life, how I want people to not question what I'm doing. Because that's the thing, like when you start growing and you start going into your zone and getting on fire or whatever, there will be people that you love and that love you that will question you. And I've learned too, like some of the closest people in your family, might hurt you or get hurt from you pursuing your potential, but I promise you, any mom or dad or your parent or anyone that sees you succeeding or smiling or thriving in what you're doing, even if they don't agree with it, they'll be happy and they won't fucking tell you. Because It's like, that's like, you have to allow people to be free and to live. Like birds aren't meant to be in cages. And a lot of human beings and people put themselves in their own cage and shackle themselves with self-limiting beliefs. I see it every day. And it's because of what they subscribe to, what they tell themselves. And you have to be in command and command your life. And when you do that, it will be invigorating and that energy will be felt with other people. That's the thing. The energy that you're doing on your sports talk show is great. And it's all real stuff. You're interviewing real people from their own experiences, whether that be athletes, whether it be entrepreneurs, creators, and everyone has a unique story. Everyone has had life experiences that have happened for them and that have shaped the identity of who that person is. And then when you can get to know who that person is and understand them, then you can see maybe why they're doing what they're doing. And then that aligns, and then that's all truth.
Right. And I think the biggest thing that I try to use through this podcast and through what I speak about every single day is trying to help people grasp the fact that you need to try and live each day to the fullest. You got to try and find ways to live this life to the fullest, because there's so many times where people don't fully grasp the simplicity of how amazing this life is. And when you say that to some people, they're like, well, why are you a Buddhist? Like, what did you try psychedelics? And I'm like, no, it's none of that.
Kumbaya. Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's none of that. It's literally just looking at the simplicities of life. Like we get every second once. Like literally, I said it in one of my past videos. I could go on the road right now, knock on wood, get into a car crash and not be here. And the thing is that's a very real reality. And it happens to people, unfortunately, every single day. And it's times where what's the biggest thing that has helped me with my anxiety, with my mindset, waking up every single day, is just thinking about those simplicities of, if today was the last day that I was on this earth, what would I do to live this life to the fullest? And my
Very
question for
special.
you,
It's very special that you have that perspective. Sorry,
I
my
appreciate
question for
that.
you. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, absolutely not. And my question for you is how have you been able to find ways each day to live your life to the fullest?
I tell myself, hey, I could have died at 7 years old. My brother could have grown up without a brother.
Right.
All these little things.
Yep.
I go, wow, I could have never been able to be fortunate enough to be able to pay for surgeries or have my family members help, my grandparents help me with some of my heart surgeries.
Right.
And if
It's
I
that
couldn't do that,
awareness.
maybe I would die at 30 or 40. I would only live to 40 years old, maybe. So there's, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't choose my family. No one chooses the life that you're born into. We're all going to have to experience the Matrix, bro. That's not a movie. That's a documentary.
Right.
Everyone's their own Neo. You will find an Oracle. You will find a Morpheus that believes in you, and you will grow and you will be at a better place. But it's like we have a life that we're born into, and then everyone at one point in their life, whether that be 18, whether that be, for me, it was 7 or 10 or younger, like, you're gonna have to take control of your own life, because it's like the people that brought us here and your parents, like, everything's passed down through energy or through behaviors or through habits. Like, to replace a bad habit, the only thing you can do is not cold turkey. You have to replace it with a good habit. Like, it's that's as within, so without, as above, so below. Like, these are the dualities of life. And that's the duality. Like, there's going to be great times in life, but it's more important to reflect on the bad times, the challenging times. It's easy to celebrate when things are great. Okay. How do you celebrate those small wins when it's bad? That's all up to the person. And that's what reveals the integrity. That's where the character comes out and shines and thrives. And no one can ever take that away. But it's like, the best thing that I would do is I reconnect and I connect the dots on my life. And I'm like, I literally couldn't, I wouldn't have been here today. And yes, every single day, man, there are odds that, yes, we could pass away, whether that be a car accident, whether that be COVID, or going to bed and having an aneurysm. I grew up with friends, God bless, one of my friend, Blake Lewis, and he was back in 15 years old. He died in the middle of his sleep. Like, kid that I grew up with, went to, high school with, and he had an aneurysm. And I didn't know it, but I guess he had it, went to doctors, but they didn't expect it to, like, happen like that. But I'm just saying, like, I remembering, like, that happens, like, Jesus, like, and I still, like, there's times when I'm saying my prayers and things that I'm grateful for, and things where I talk to him and other people, because it's like you have to realize, like, even when people are dead and they're gone, the fact that you can remember them, the fact that you can have memories in your mind, they are still living inside you. You can realize that to a point. Tupac's still fucking alive through his music. All these great people that have passed away are alive through their life work. And when you can do that, then you can make the world a little bit of a better place, because the world will understand who that person was from the time that they were living. And I just feel like I live my life, like you're saying, like it's my last, because of the perspective. And if so many other people, Iggy, had the perspective that you had, oh my God, would the world be a better place? Because it's like, when you can realize that, like, how special it is to live, to be in the USA, of other parts of the country where there's more freedoms and liberties. People might disagree with me on that and stuff, but the point is it's, none of us choose this life, but when you can choose to be grateful for it, when you can choose to realize how special we all are here, how we became that sperm that beat out the other sperms during that time, and then 9 months later we were born, like, that should happen without us choosing. Like, I don't know. I can't, no one can remember that. So it's like, you have to go against the common way that everyone thinks, and just come up with how you want to live your own life. No one will tell you how to live your own life, other than maybe your parents or people that want what's best for you. But when you can really just own your shit, or own what it is you want to do, or, hey, I just want to be in a better state of mind or a place, when you can start taking control of that, that's the minute or the second that you can start being more aware of, like, what's going on and what's going on. Because at the end of the day, it's like, your sense of awareness will help you thrive in life. And there are people that are so ignorant and they're so unaware at times, whether that be just their focus factor or other things, where they're just, they don't question anything, and they're just okay, like that. Like things are very that simple.
Mm-hmm.
But us, whether it be our anxiety or emotions, we make things really complex. So when you can like do that soul searching and shift the perspective with your challenge and say, wow, like yesterday I could have got hit by a car. Like think of those things, like that's going to have to be the fuel that gets you out of the dark zone, like to see the light. And like, for me, I like saying this, but it's like, I worked really hard, and it's not a never ending story of putting in the hard work, but it's like, I turned my sense of hell that was out of my control during growing up in my life and made it a heaven. And it's like my choice, you know, like, and that's the thing. People are like, why are you so joyful and all these things? And it's just like, I guess literally just of the suffering, the Buddhism factor. Like I've had to physically suffer with some of those pains. Like I'm a better person for it. Mm-hmm. I don't need anyone to feel sorry for me, but I just want everyone to realize that if I could suffer with my struggle and turn it around, you can too. You really can. Right. Mm-hmm. Everyone has different abilities and capabilities, but we all have the power to be aware, whether that be if you are a paraplegic and you can't even walk, you can still be very aware and talk about your story. You're like Ethan Hawkins, not Ethan Hawkins. What's his name that played? He passed away a little bit, but he wrote. Thank you, Stephen Hawkins. And I'm just saying, like everyone has intrinsic value. So when you can, you know, when all odds are against you, be that 1% that is just, everyone's going to be like, holy shit, I grossly underestimated that person. Because the point is it's not about proving people wrong. Don't prove people wrong. Ask the right questions to understand people. And when you can prove yourself right, that's when other people will fucking be like, holy shit, I have to really listen to what Iggy says. Or, you know what? Why does Ian do that? What gets him ticking? Literally, like I hear my heart tick now because I have the mechanical valve, and I have to joke. And that's the thing, when you're going through those challenges and those tough times, the Lord or God, the divine intelligence of the universe, has a great sense of humor, like saying, and you need to find the joy in that. So it's like, I joke like, hey, like I used to have Tourette syndrome and I literally have ticks. Now I have my heart that ticks and I hear it and I'm aware and I'm in tune with it. That's just my personal like little story, but it's like, you have to tell yourself that. Another thing that I like to tell myself is like, wow, like I almost got attacked by that dog, but you know, like man's best friend, maybe that's a sign. Oh, dog backwards is God. Like little weird shit that might sound crazy, but it's like, And I'm like, I really like in school, like palindromes. What a palindrome is like race car. It's not like it's race car backwards is race car forwards. So it's like, yeah, the same word. So it's like, there's just little idiosyncrasies like that. And it's just like, you have to be playful and you have to create this sense of a vision to get out of that dark spot, to get out of that challenge when you are, and that vision comes from like what it is, like your angst, your intention. And I'd say like the best thing to do to shift that perspective and to get out of that challenge is just write your goals down, write what you're thankful for. And if you read what you're thankful for in your goals, rather than the news, rather than what that celebrity is doing, oh my God, your life's gonna be better. Because when you're reading the news and you're reading about the celebrity, that's not your life. So it's like, you have to know that you're gonna be the master sculptor of your life. You're gonna be the trainer of your life. You're gonna be the director, the producer of your life, and the alchemist. And it all starts with you and ends with you. So it's like, you can't go wrong just listening to your heart and like focusing on what matters most in your life. Because you can see real quick what matter to people in their life on the internet from what they're posting, what they're doing every day, what they're intentionally, subjectively wanting the end consumer or the people to view. Like that's a choice. Right. Like that's the thing. Like my phone doesn't create, I mean, there's a lot of great automation services, but when you're making a post or you're doing a podcast, like you can't program someone to do that for you. That's all the creative. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying, like, you have to do all the creative you can with your life. And I don't like using the word hate, but don't say these things to yourself. Like, I can't do that, or I'm not creative. Because when you say those things, that's the power of those words. That's the self-talk. And it's like, it takes a sense of smiling in the storm and getting pricked by some roses to realize like, I shouldn't sweat that up. And it's like, it's the hardest thing because you're going to feel like you're going crazy, but man, like we're all supposed to endure challenges as human beings. I don't care what that is, whether that be like anything, like if it's a workout challenge or if it's a challenge, like a problem solving question, like everyone's going to have a challenge of some sort. And that's like the beautiful thing about life, because life is what you make of it. Life is what you make of it, period.
Yep.
And I like to say that life tends to be a culmination of your thoughts aligned with your actions. So like, that's how you can live your life. Because it's one thing to think a certain way, but to never act on that, that's just like, it's wasted talent. Or it's like a bullet and a gun, or knowledge is power, but knowledge that's applied is more powerful. A bullet and a gun is not as powerful as when you pull that trigger. So it's like, you have to realize that it's steps, just be patient. But the best way to get out of a certain place is just taking action, and then trying to gain a new sense of some thought or something through meeting other people, or just like reflecting your life, saying, okay, not why me, not why me. Okay, these things happen. I'm going to make the best out of it. And you can just take that ownership and that responsibility. It is priceless. Right. And there are people that are 40 or 50 years old, you know, they don't know what they want to do with their life, and they might be, you know, older than us. And it's just like, you have to realize, like, it's okay to not be where you are at, but you have to know that you have to take accountability and ownership for yourself. Because if you do that, that's the first step to being in a better place.
I love it, man. I love it. We like one of my favorite podcasters, Craig Siegel, and I know that you're connected with him as well.
Craig's a great guy. Good brother.
Great guy. He says it at the start of his CLS podcast, every single episode, we're gonna make some magic today. And I honestly think we made some absolute magic today. You got me so amped up, inspired, and motivated from this conversation. And I really hope that all my listeners are able to take what you've said today and really apply it to their own life. Because throughout what you've said today, there's been multiple times where I've thought in my mind, this is why I do what I do. This is exactly why
you're fulfilling your purpose right now, simultaneously as we're recording this live podcast. And I am too. And that is fucking magic, my friend. So you are right. And Craig's right.
Exactly. And it's funny that you brought up like the intake, and it's something where Craig's podcast, David Meltzer's podcast, and his content as well has really helped me be able to figure out who I am and how I want to live my purpose and help out other people. And I'm so excited, Ian, for, you know, the future of how we can work together and how we could help people find this inner understanding of not only their why, but with being more grateful about each second that they have in this life. And I'm so grateful for this time that we've had today.
Me too, man. And thank you so much. And just like Dave and Craig, man, they're doing a long-term thing, speaking their truth. And you are too, I am too. And that's the thing, like, no one's going to choose the way you live your life other than you. People will have their opinions and all that stuff, but that doesn't matter. And the thing is no one's doing anything worth of value if they don't have any haters or people that question what they're doing. So it's like, you're doing something good when there might be crickets at times, because you know what? Time is not infinite, and there won't always be crickets there. Right. And as long as you wake up every day wanting to fulfill your purpose and you provide value in creative forms, you're going to win. And you're going to and think of winning at every day. When you can wake up and go to bed knowing that you served, you helped someone, you spoke your truth, you did work that was not just for you, but for some other people. And sometimes you can't do a work for other people, but when you do that, that's when you can sleep at night. And the last thing I want to say before we end this, that I love is a great takeaway, is those who take, eat well at night. Those who give, sleep well at night. So it's up to you how you want to go to bed, make the bed, and then how you wake up, and do it with grace, and do it with joy, man. And keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, this is, I'm really happy you said what you said. And this is really going to help people, because I don't know how it couldn't, even if they don't apply it to their lives, they'll see what we're doing and it will give them some sense of hope. So that's all we can hope for, right?
Exactly. Well, where can people find more about yourself? Because I already know that I'm going to get messages after this episode about how much you hype people up.
So you can support me if you want to have fun headwear. You can go to rallyfootcap.com. Also, a way to support us and our team. I'm really trying to change the lives of other people with a functional training system that makes fitness simple and easy for them. Check out the Beckford bar. It's a push-up bar invented by Tyson Beckford. Male model physique. It's fun. It's a challenge. And there's always a reward, whether you can't do the push-up regularly, or you have to do it on your knees, but you can go to workoutswithdougforbar.com. My personal website is heycoachk.com. That's HeyCoachk.com. And then the best way that I like being active is on LinkedIn, but mostly Instagram. My Instagram handle is IanGK. That's IANGKAY. My middle name is Gregory. So I'm not just a G unit, but it's Gregory. So that's why I have the G.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, yeah, thank you so much for your time today and all your insightful, lessons from your life and your experiences. And I'm so excited for people to hear this.
Hey, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And I look forward to connecting with you another time, man. And it's my pleasure. And thank you again from the bottom of my heart for having me be a guest on your podcast. And I'm so excited for the future of what the Sports Talk podcast has to offer, man. It's gonna take off. So it's just a matter of time. Have fun.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
I will talk later, my bro.